Excellent. Welcome you all. We are in an interactive session presented by the panel by Young Innovators team. Today's topic is a very interesting one. This is one of many. We will be doing it. So I'm going to introduce the topic, which is how to deal with the too much homework. And our panelists, I'm going to introduce all of them to us. I have with me Shan Ali. Shan, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Shan Ali. I am a year 11 student currently. So I'm a year 11 student. I've chosen all my subjects. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm also part of the Young Innovators Club.
Thank you very much. Snan, can you introduce yourself?
So, hi, my name is Hasnain. I am also in year 11, like Shayan. I've also chosen my subjects. Yep, that's all I can say. And I'm also part of Young Innovators Club.
Excellent. Ian, we can't see you. Can you just introduce yourself? Look like Ian got some mic issue. We will come back to him afterward. He sorted out. But we keep going. The first question I want to ask all of you: how much homework do you get in terms of the time and in terms of the workload when you say it? So I just want to get your opinion on it.
So is it okay if I talk first?
Go ahead.
When it comes to how much workload I get, it varies from day to day, obviously. But compared to other high schools, I wouldn't say it's like a whole lot. There is, for some subjects, a decent amount. Like they expect you to do chapter summaries around over 1 or 2 nights. They give me time, obviously. And there is some pretty big tasks, but they don't all come at once. Not yet, at least. I mean, I've just started year 11, obviously. And when you start off, everything's not so hard. But later on, it might start piling up. And when it does, obviously, there are some plans I have. But right now, homework, not too much.
Are you in the favor of homework? Do you think there should be a homework, Shan?
If we're looking at the standpoint of good for students who study on their own, maybe not, but there are a lot of students that, if you think about it, sometimes they don't study at home and they don't revise the content. And for their sake, it's sometimes better to make sure that they are able to make sure that they're able to at least get some sort of revision done. And homework is right now playing that very important role. However, because of the negative light it's seen in, it could create some bad impressions on it. However, I do feel like homework serves a specific purpose. So I am in favor.
Excellent. What about you, Husnain? How much you think is the homework get, and how much you think of is important for you, or you think is not important in your current class? You're in a class studying now.
For me, homework also, like Shayan, varies from day to day. For me specifically, most of the homework comes from subjects like mathematics, the sciences, for example, biology, chemistry, physics, sometimes even English. I get a lot of homework from that. And over time, it can build up if you just move it towards a side. So what I do personally is I try to do the homework as soon as I get it, so I don't have to worry about it after. And sometimes it's not about a lot of homework, it's about the difficulty of the homework, and sometimes that can cause a lot of stress as well, and just as much stress as getting a lot of homework in a single day. And for this, I just try to be most productive as possible. And since I'm starting year 11 now, over time, it will start to build up gradually as the year progresses, and eventually I will start year 12 as well. That will be a massive jump as well from year 11. and that will cause some unwanted stress that I want to remove in the future.
Excellent. We got the Jan back there as a Jan. You can get closer to your webcam so you will get a little bit bigger view, and also you get less distraction. You can move your laptop in a way you get. Yeah, that's better, and look right into the. Yeah, that's great. Beautiful. So, Jan, can we get your view about the home? How much homework do you get, and do you get? What do you feel about it? Should be the homework part of your study if you feel it?
I personally, I'm in year six, and I get a decent amount of homework every week, but gradually it will start to build up since I will go into high school next year, inshallah. So, me, homework, I feel like it has a purpose to it. Depends on the difficulty as well. If they're just gonna give you a big blob of homework which you don't even know the content about, the difficulty is like at its hardest, then there would be no point. If it was see the homework that I get, it's basically all rounded up into about 10 pages of the whole entire week, so we can just revise it at home with our parents and just revise it really.
Excellent. I really get this is the point need to be noted that both Usman and Iyan both said about the when you don't know what to do, then it becomes a little bit they attach too much the it become a roadblock out, so it become a stress factor as well. So that's a very important point need to be noted. I'm gonna show you share with you a small video. I want your full attention where we're gonna learn about the pros and cons about homework, give or not to give. This is the perspective from a teacher's point of view or a study point of view. Let's watch. And let me know if you can't hear it.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education. I am your narrator, Frank Avella. Here we will discuss the great homework debate and cover some of the pros and cons of assigning homework. The first thing I want to mention is that there is conflicting research. Research has shown that assigning homework for high school students will lead to an increase in achievement. The more homework given, the better students perform on standardized tests. However, when it comes to elementary students, the research has shown that assigning too much homework actually decreases achievement for younger children. There are so many factors when it comes to research based on achievement with homework. A positive of homework is that it's an opportunity for parents and children to spend quality time together. A negative is that it will interfere with a child's social life. Children need time to play and make friends. Too much homework can be a detriment. Many children spend all day when they get home on the computer and on their cell phones. Having them do homework will decrease that screen time. Children have reported developing a negative attitude because they are often assigned hours of homework. They feel at home should be their own time, that they've worked enough. On the other side, teachers will assign homework because they know that doing homework and studying is a great habit to develop for college and for life as well. One of the cons about homework is that students are busy after school. Many students participate in extracurricular activities, and these activities do take a lot of their time. Sometimes teachers assign homework just because there isn't enough time in class to get through the material. One of the biggest problems with assigning homework is that not everyone comes from the same socioeconomic background. Some children will not have access to the internet or a quiet place to study. As a positive, homework provides an opportunity to practice skills learned in the classroom, like multiplication tables, critical thinking, and more. Believe it or not, many children are under a great deal of stress. Homework may just add to that stress. It may be too much for some. Another positive for homework is that having students do their own homework helps them develop skills such as time management. One of the biggest complaints that teachers have is that when they assign homework, their students simply copy the work off each other. Cheating is prevalent when it comes to homework. Back to the last positive for teachers to assign homework, which is that it reinforces the concepts that are taught in class. And that is a big positive, as when students won't get something the first time. Now, on to the last negative, which is that we are simply giving students too much work. Too much of anything is no good. Too much mathematics may turn students off.
Let's go to the last slide. So I want to keep that
Hello
thing
and welcome
there.
to Teachings and Education.
Just give me a
I am your
second.
narrator.
I wanted to see the last part of it. So how to get to, I wanted to see the last part.
Frank Avella. Here we will.
Just give me a second. Well, yeah, here we go.
Hello and welcome. May turn students off.
Come on, it doesn't show. Anyway, that's okay. So I hope you remember some part of it, which is actually a good. So when we talk about it in the thing, you see the pros and cons. I want you to what you agree with in the terms of the cons or a pro. I want you to get your view where you agree or disagree. Take one of your takes. So we start with Asnan. What's your take on it?
There are many things I definitely agree with the video, is that too much of anything's not good. Same applies with homework. If you get too much homework, you get too much stress, and it can affect your social life. As I said in the video, it can affect your extracurricular activities because sometimes you're busy outside of school or after school. One thing I do disagree with that though is that some people, I mean, it's kind of reckless to assume that cheating is prevalent, simply because not many people cheat these days, and often teachers are there to help you, so it's not that prevalent at all. Other than that, I mean, I do agree with other aspects in the videos. Yeah.
You're muted.
Yep. What's your view on the what you saw? I really appreciate it, Snan. Again, we are getting that thing is the stress, the time. This is the point is coming back again and again. So what's your view on Shan?
I might change my point of view from regarding homework just for the senior years. Because if you look at junior years, you can't expect the child to create revision notes. You can't expect the child to try and, yeah, basically make revision notes and revise over their work. So homework is important for revising, as you mentioned in his pros. The cons he had, though, were actually very prevalent cons. Like if you're a student and you're in your classroom, right? Imagine you're in your classroom and then you have your teacher here, and whenever your teacher's looking through homework, sometimes you'll see your teacher complaining, like, why is this work the exact same as this work? And then you realize that copying is a really serious issue. Then what happens is that when the teacher asks a student to actually redo the work, then what happens is that homework doubles for the child and becomes really stressful for the child. And in that scenario, I fully agree with his cons. So his cons and pros are actually something that are really prevalent and true at the same time.
Excellent. Thank you, Shan. That was good point of view. Where you talk about the having a balance. That's very important. We will talk a little bit more about it. And Jan, can you just share your thought about what part you agree and disagree what he mentioned there? I really want to know where you disagree as well. Jan.
I really agree with the pros and mostly with the cons. Some of the cons, like, I mean, the pros, which are like, sorry, wait, let me just start again. Sorry. So I agree with most things, like with the pros and the cons, but some things which I disagree with the cons is that, I mean, with the pros is that if they give homework to high school, well, what's the difference going to be between high school and primary when they're basically going to get the same load of homework? What's going to be the difference? And with the cons, I would have to say, I just forgot what I said. Sorry.
Nice, okay, things happen. So you're trying to say that in the different classes, there should be a different way of treating the homework, which I agree
So,
as well. So let
so
me
like
show
every
you.
class should have.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
every class should have like their own personalized way of teaching and different way of homework.
Excellent.
That's all I have to say.
No worries. Just give me a little second. I just sort this out. Thank you. So coming back to the thing, what we want to say is, I want to show you a very important part of the slide, which is talking about why do we get the homework. This is a teacher perspective. It's a general research. This is very important for students to learn. All right. Why the homework is designed, and there is a research behind, and we need to see that that research is still valid or not valid. Okay. I'm just trying to get the next slide by saying, yeah. Here I'm going to share why we get a homework from a teacher's perspective. Basically, you need to learn as a student about the cognitive learning theory, which is they say we need to learn how we learn. It's very important for us in a way that we can improve our learning skills. And from the teacher's perspective, which we normally call pedagogy, means the art of teaching. In that, we say that the humans are normally learns in a three steps. The first, when we start with in the old days, we used to get information comes on a blackboard, and we just take notes and memorize. That was all about learning in the old days. Then we went to start to come when a teacher demonstrates something, we copy. We're talking about physical learning, like for example sports or something hands-on experience. So somebody teach you, okay, go on a bike, and then you try to copy the way do, and then they leave you, and you keep practicing until you don't become a good one. In nowadays, they improved a little bit, where the teachers come and they give you concepts. The as Osnan said before, in example of maths, they come and explain you the concept, and then you understand by doing a small practice in the class. Then you bring it home, or you there, you apply and do the full exercise, right? So if you look at the third step in each case, is about related to the homework, where you basically apply your knowledge or learning or skill or understanding independently. I'm repeating, where you try your understanding or your practice or your learning independently. That's the whole science behind it. Now, this, as per your discussion, your point of view, this really depends on 5-6 factors. This is very important. I want you to attention and give your feedback and opinion as well. It's really depend on what grade you are. As he said in the video as well, if you are in a primary, is a little bit too much, because you have difficulty understanding the task. You were okay when you're doing in the class. So when you're in a high school, you become a little bit independent, and then you will be more taking charge of your learning. And similarly, is teaching style also related to as well. Some people really want you to try everything. Some people say, no, look, we need to get to have a balance where I support your learning in my presence rather than give you a task and let you go. Subject also very much matters as well, because in a sports one, what homework you can give, you know what I mean. In a math one, you can do independently. Some of the things really hands-on, so the homeworks really um, will be difficult. Similarly, some subjects are too hard, as you said, Snan, that you don't know what to do with it, and then it becomes a burden. So that's also not recommended. Similarly, homeworks become a pain for the parents, because some parents unable, what they learned in their school time is different, and what you guys are learning is different. Similarly, they don't have time, and even the interest. Not every parent is a mentor or a teacher. Home environment is a great, there's a niche area. Some kids find it very hard. If your siblings are studying, it's easy for you to say. But if you come home, your siblings are older, are very young, and you are the only one, everybody's watching TV. Or on the other side, you don't have an area where you can focus your study. For example, you don't have a study table, you have a small house, and you're watching TV at the same time. So it's become challenging. Some people don't have the technology nowadays. Everybody using internet and a mobile, and you don't have that facility or a computer to do your homework, online homework. So these are the things also matter as well, which makes you makes your homework job become harder. And the last one is very important, is about the commitment. I want you to get your reflection ready, where you want to give a focus to other things. Like for example, I met a guy who does 3 hours journey because his selective school is too far, and 1 hour and 30 minutes going, 1 hour 30 minutes coming. And how is he's gonna have his social life, his physical things, and he has to eat, he has to rest. So these things matter as well. So how are you going to give time to your extracurricular things as well? So I'll leave that slide there. I want your opinion. In your case, what are the things that are relevant? We start with the Husnain first.
First of all, I agree that not all people have the facilities to do their homework properly. For example, not everyone has the internet or a computer or like a perfect place to do their homework properly and focus while they're doing it. And so that can pose as a bigger disadvantage on their favor. Yeah.
I think you're trying to talk, but you're muted again.
Yeah, I'm just saying to you, Shan, what are the things matter to you? What affects you? What are the things relevant to you in this case? We want to know your perspective.
First of all, when it comes to your grade, obviously your grade matters a lot. And if you look at it, if you're in, let me just quickly, give me 2 seconds. I'll quickly just write this down. Teaching style, subject, parents, environment, time. Okay, cool. So starting off with grade, obviously, your grade matters a lot because if I'm a student in primary versus a student in high school, as a student in high school, I want to focus a lot more on my studies as this affects me a lot more versus if I'm in primary. Now, what if I'm a student in primary? A student in primary just needs to build on his fundamentals, and the emphasis on homework can be a lot. However, it should not be too much because you have to realize a student in primary versus a student in high school, they also need to learn how to keep track of things. But at the same time, you have to realize they can't have so many responsibilities at once. It's important to get parents involved. And as a high schooler, you're more independent. And as a primary student, you're more dependent. So if you put a lot of homework on primary students, what happens is that you also force parents to get into the equation of doing and completing homework. And when you do that, that makes it harder for parents, teachers, and students to go through all of this because you have a lot of homework. Teachers have to mark it. In high school, they don't mark it as much, but what's it called? Yeah, in high school, they don't mark it as much, your homework, but in primary, they mark it a lot more. And this is actually resource deficient, not efficient, resource deficient. And that's just in grade. That's just a factor of grade. Now, teaching style, obviously, if a teacher uses a different teaching style, I think one popular one is a flipped classroom approach, which was one. If a teacher prefers to make the homework the learning itself, where students will learn based off of a video lesson and do the actual work in class, then that obviously makes a gigantic difference because that means homework is going to have a set time and it has to be completed within the hour, or they're going to be basically doing most of their school at home and just working at school. And that's just the teaching style. And in that way, you can realize the teaching style can actually add a lot more homework but at the same time, it might work better for other people. Then
Thanks,
subjects.
Jan. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just wanted to get your perspective. What's matters to you? What you not just to your reflection on each one of them. I wanted
I
to
know,
know
but what I'm
what are the things matters to you. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so if I'm talking about what matters to me, grade matters a lot, as I just explained. Subjects matters a lot. Teaching style, in my opinion, does affect what kind of homework you'd get. However, teaching style is pretty standard nowadays, so it doesn't matter as much. So grade, subject, then you have your parents. Other than parents, because with parents, they're a big influence on the child. Home environment does matter when it only comes to completing homework. Time and other commitments, that's depending upon the person. And I feel like the main three ones would just be grade, home environment, and subject. That's it. Apologies for taking so long.
It's okay. That's great. Jan, what are the things about related to you which you think, yeah, this happens to you? Like when you say the what are the time wise, the parents' availability, or home environment? What are the things where you find it that affects your homework? The factors that affects your homework. Okay, it looks like he's having some technical difficulty. We moving forward with the thing there is so the next we think we want to ask you a few questions about is what makes you to hate the homework. What happens when you hate it? So it's just a quick brief answer we are expecting, so we want to know your perspective.
I think, Hasnain, you should start with this one then.
Okay, sure. So one of the main things that makes me want to hate homework so much is one, the difficulty of the homework itself without the concepts that have been taught in classroom. Because sometimes an obnoxious thing schools can do is that they can set homework, but they actually don't teach the concepts itself that require you to complete the homework, and that can pose as a really big difficulty for me to complete it itself. Another main thing that makes me hate homework is obviously time pressure and what needs to be done, the expectations of you during that time frame, and and by you not completing the homework in that time frame can pose a lot of unforeseen consequences, which can result to a lot of problems. I don't want to mention that, but another thing that makes me want to hate homework a lot, and I'm emphasizing this a lot because it has affected me in the past as well, is the amount of homework given in a specific amount of time. And I might have said this before, but just to reinforce the point, a lot of anything doesn't benefit you in any way. Same goes with homework. If you're given too much homework I'll give you an example of this. Say if you're given 5 chapter summaries to do, which are all like a total of 30 pages long, and and if you're given a total of 30 minutes, most of the time or almost all the time you wouldn't be able to complete it within that amount of time, and that can cause unwanted stress and can leave you to pull off an all-nighter, which is obviously very unhealthy, and it can affect your health a lot. So that's all I can say.
Thank you. That was great. We come to the Jan to ask when what makes you hate the homework. Jan, you are there now, please.
The thing which makes me the subject that I hate the thing that makes me hate homework is when the teachers give you homework, but at the same time, when you're at school and you don't finish something, for example, I'm an SLC at my school and I'm out of the class half of the time, you have to take the extra homework home with the other homework, so you're gonna have double the stress. After that, some of the concepts which you haven't been explained because you're out of the class, which makes it triple the time, and the teachers just aren't bothered to explain it. And the subject which most makes me hate homework is probably going to be English, because they put a lot of random things off the internet which sometimes they don't even understand. So yeah, that's and then the teacher's expectation is completely different to what you wrote and you think which is right, and they don't tell you what the expectations are, and until the day that it's due. So yeah, thank you.
Excellent. That's good. Ayan, you just said very rightly. We are going over time. This is our first show. We are learning a lot. We need to make it tidy next time to maybe make it topics a little bit thing, because we want to know how to deal with the this stress and how make it more enjoyable. So we going forward to look at we talk about the stress as well. So what do we do? How can we got three things what we came up with. The is one is you don't know what to do, that makes it harder. This second one where you say this too much, the load is too much. And third one is when you say look you have to deal with the work you don't like, right? So these are the three factors. Shami, you're noting down. So these are things we're gonna. So we want to know now towards the solution. That's where I really need. This is our concluding things, which will be the cream of the whole thing, is to how we can enjoy it. Just give me a second. Oops, we're going to. How can we enjoy it? So let me see. How can we make these three things? Let's put it this way. It's not written. The first question I'm gonna write down here, right there. The first question we're gonna ask about dealing with the stress of unknowing. I want you to prepare your response. What to do? One suggestion from you is to first question is dealing with the stress of what to do. What homework? We got a homework given, and I don't know the answer, or I don't know how to do it. So what is your suggestion? Anyone can start if you know the answer.
Okay.
Everybody, yeah.
First of all, what you want to do is that if you have homework and let's say you don't know what to do for the homework, or you're lost at, or you don't understand the question, number one, before going to the internet to get answers, number one, go to your friends. Going to your friends is because when you go to your fellow peers, they'll be able to understand how you work, and they also are in the same class as you, so they understand exactly how to explain what you need to do for the homework. So
You share your own experiences rather than advising something. Tell us your experience, what works for you.
yeah, so
What works? How do you do it? You are at home. How do you do it?
in a research task, I didn't know what to do. So first thing I did is that I hopped onto Discord. I spoke to my friends, and they explained to me what to do for that research task. Similarly, that's what my friends do as well. When they don't know what to do, they contact me or my other friends, and that's what we do. We create a network through there. Now, another thing that we do is that if we don't understand something, we straight away head to the internet, especially for chemistry, because when your teacher is trying to find stuff for chemistry, what happens is that you get a lot of random chemicals that are introduced that you have to research yourself. So best thing to do is go onto the internet, and sometimes if you can't find a direct answer, best thing to do is look for a short video, because videos can explain things better than articles can for about, let's say, 25% of the time, or if not 50%, between those two parameters. So if you can't get a direct answer, look for a video, and then everything will slowly make more sense to you. Definitely muted.
You're muted again.
Sorry. So, do you have any suggestion to deal with this question, the stress part? What do you do? If you have the homework, you don't know what to do, what do you do? Can you hear me?
Yeah, who are you talking with?
Husnan.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. So
So
what I do. So continue.
yeah, that's fine. We want to know what do you do to make your life easier rather than you having a stress that tomorrow this is something is due and I don't know what to do. So what Shan said, he uses what we call a friend service, and mostly he's successful there. And he used Discord online technology to connect with his friend. So what do you do when you get a situation?
Whenever I tend to find homework hard, so I follow a similar process to Shayon, calling my friends on Discord or also on WhatsApp and that sort of stuff. Also, I tend to call other relatives who've gone through the same process themselves, and also they know what to do in that case, which can really help. If they don't, if in some cases they don't know the answer, then I would go to the internet, find some research article, and hopefully find some answers from that. But other than that, I mean, I follow the same process as Shayon, pretty much.
Excellent. What about a Jan? You when you stuck with the homework, what do you do?
So as Hussein and Shian said, I first contact my friends through Discord or Gmail Hangouts. And if they don't know, then I'd hop onto the internet. And if I don't understand from the internet, then I'd usually email my teacher, and my teacher would usually just send it approximately 15-20 minutes later. So it's a pretty decent time to get your response.
Excellent. Thanks, Jan. That's good one. That yeah, I'm so proud that your teacher just give you the answer there. That's great. By the way, we will just sharing with you. This is our YouTube channel link where you can join us in the regular program. This we missed out. We're gonna say it again, and we're gonna make a small clip about it too. Please like, subscribe our channel and this video as well. Share with it. You can join us as well on this discussion as well. We will give you link where you can contact us. Shan, can you type an email where they can request to join us there in the comment box, Shan? And let's going on to the other thing. The second question I'm going to ask you. We start with this, and I will ask you, when you get too much homework, what do you do with it? Any suggestion for the people who are watching?
In some cases where I do get a lot of homework, and this has happened to me just at the beginning of this year, in particular, where I've got like insane amounts of homework in like a relatively short period of time. And in that case, I would have to set up productivity goals that I would have to achieve with my homework. So I would break up my homework into bits so that it doesn't feel like one whole session, and do it in multiple sessions. So if you've heard of this technique called the Pomodoro technique, I'm sure most students have heard of it. It's like when you do 25 minutes of work and you take a 5-minute break to recover. And I sometimes use this technique in order to increase my productivity when I do my homework. And also, I try to reduce my distractions and create a high focus environment. I use a specialized system, which it's very complicated. I've mastered it for quite some time. But basically, the basic thing you can do is what I do as well is whatever I use a distraction cheat sheet, which basically means whenever I get distracted by something, I would write it down into my distraction cheat sheet so that the next time I prepare for example, studying or doing homework, I would remove that distraction. So in order to not get distracted by that homework, and in order to do my homework quicker and faster, and that would hopefully reduce the stress on me and on my homework as well.
Excellent. I really like what you said, and we really want you to elaborate later on in a small clip for us. How do you do that distraction cheat sheet? I would really want you to make those things ready, and we will be getting there. as we say, we're going a little bit over. The last question we wanted to ask is to, just give me a second. The third question is about, if you don't like the homework, is the subject area or something, what do you do? How do you deal with it? Do you just get the solution, copy, cheat? What do you do? I'm not expecting that, but I'm just saying, I want to ask Shan, if you get a homework, if you don't like, do you have any advice to make it still done it, and how do you do it?
It's a little bit hard to answer that question because usually most of my homework, I like the subject a lot, but if there's any homework for something I don't like, let's say it's for mathematics, sometimes if the teacher would know if I didn't like the homework. So what I'll do, let's say I'm still in school, I will talk to the teacher, I'll negotiate. And for math, for example, I'll ask if my teacher would let me do something like do one, skip one. What that means is that if you have a lot of math homework and then it's like a massive exercise and you have like question 1, 2, 3, and each question has like sub questions of A all the way, let's say to Z. Do one, skip one basically means that you do A, skip B, do C, and then skip D, do E. That's what do one, skip one is. So that's one thing I'll do. Maybe I'll negotiate with my teacher. And if I have to do the homework and I have to do everything, what I try to do is that I try to at least put that last, because that piece of homework, what it does is that if I have other homework tasks, I try and complete all the ones I'm okay with, and I keep the hardest one for last, or the one I don't like for last. When I do it last, then what happens is that after I know that straight after this homework, I'm gonna have my own free time, right? And this motivates me to actually finish that homework. So even though I can't dodge a scenario that I dislike it, but instead try and make some sort of motivation that motivates you to go through and do that hard work for yourself. That's it.
Excellent. That's great, Shan. That's what's good insight. Anybody wants to add anything before we conclude? And I want to meanwhile share, I want to request Shan to prepare yourself for a 2 minutes intro to your club activities and how people can join these kind of discussion. They can engage and do it, and how can we be better with it. So meanwhile, I want to ask Stan and Jan if they want to add something to what Shan said. Otherwise, we will conclude today's session. We are a bit, yeah.
I do the opposite of Shan. I do the hard things first, so it's out of the way, done and dusted, and I do the easier things later, so I feel more relaxed than being stressed at the end. So instead, I like to be stressed at the start, then be relaxed at the end.
Okay, that's great. I really like Jan's response, because not everything works for what people say. This is very, very important. What we see on the internet, teachers say, and everything, whatever your experience works, that's the truth. Rest is all myth. Do you agree, Snan? What do you agree with, or what you disagree with, or you want to add something what he said?
So I would 100% agree with Shayan. Ayan, sorry. Especially when I get lots of homework, I'll do the hard things first and get that over and done with. Because normally, the big mistake I did in the early years of high school is that I would normally do easier homework first, because that would be easier to complete and quicker to do so that you get more time for homework. It's actually the opposite, and sometimes you never know how much time you're going to take for the easier homework, to do the easier part of the homework and then do the harder part. So what I'll do is just switch it around and do the opposite, and do the hard parts first, done and dusted, like Ayan said, and focus on the easier ones once you've done that, so you have less stress when you're doing it.
Excellent. So we got two people agree on that. That's good. That's, like I go for if I will be doing, I will do from the Shan side. So this is what makes us better. So I just want to conclude this, and I want you to, Shan, conclude the session with tell us a bit about what is the initiative we are taking this, and what are the future topics By the way, everybody can propose a topic, including you guys, what future topic we should be talking about, and what you're going to take away from here as well. So there'll be concluding remarks from everybody. But firstly, I invite Shian to talk about this online session, what is the purpose and who's organizing it.
Yep, I'll do it as soon as the camera moves to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. Now, this online panel discussion is a discussion where we're talking about school and studying, right? And similarly, this is what the goal of these sort of discussions is, because I'm a student, whoever's watching this might be a parent or a student, and each of us need to go through school, right? And this is so that people like us who have experience, who have went through school, just like you guys, and even at a younger age, we're able to give our real life experiences, and we're able to help people like you actually work on how to deal with your own school and study, right? So these online discussions and or panel discussions we're having are basically just discussions for all of us to just talk to each other, help each other out. And on the topic of who's organizing this, that's where people like me, Hussein, and Ayan, we're all from this Young Innovators Club, right? Young Innovators Club is basically a club where you'll have a lot of mentors from the Young Innovators network who team up, work together. We run workshops, we do online sessions, just like the one you're seeing now. We also make a lot of activities. There were sometimes we made competitions as well. And the Young Innovators Club is more of a focus group now, where we focus on things such as studying, hence why we have this live stream right now, where we also focus on important things such as running projects and learning new skills. In the Young Innovators Club, you learn how to do social media marketing skills. You also learn about skills on how to present, public speaking skills. You also learn how to do fun stuff as well, and innovative things like web designing, etc., how to code on websites. And that's what the Young Innovators Club is about. It's about working on your passion and having more of a focus group for yourself and for other people as well.
Thank you, Shian. That was good. And this will be our today's session about how to deal with the too much homework. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And please share it with others. And we'll be posting some exclusive videos as well, which will be shorter version, which we learned today. And as you heard from Shian, you guys can be part of the thing, and the skills he mentioned, what they gain through public speaking, whatever we seeing, they're organized by the team, technical skills as well as soft skills. You can get that as well if you join the mob. So till then, we will be looking forward to seeing your comments, feedback, suggestions. And we already shared the email address. You can send it to us or leave it comment, and we will look at that comment as well. Or you can just otherwise email to us. Okay, so we are available on Facebook. We are available on YouTube, but we'll be focusing YouTube for all kind of sharing materials, because it's easier for students to access rather than the social media network. Jazakallah khair, and see you next time. And we will be online again next week, 6 o'clock, same time. Goodbye then.